Well, welcome everyone. Thomas Montgomery here, Smart Money Alliance. It is Tuesday morning, June 9th, and we're very close to 8 a.m. Central. And I know there's nowhere else I'd rather be right now than right here with you and talking about these important topics. We have our Zoom webinar trainings most Mondays through Fridays at 8 a.m. Central. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, which includes today, of course, we focus on visiting with and explaining the proposition to prospective new branch managers. And so that's really the content today, is any of you that might be considering working with us to understand who we are, what we do, and why we might want to collaborate. For those of you that are on the webinar that are already on board, this certainly can be a refresher, a reminder, a prompting of how you can bring on other branch managers that can help small businesses in their community, and you can receive valuable overrides. So while we're not MLM or network marketing, there are great overrides available. So let's start with who we are, and then we'll talk about what we do, and we'll talk about how we could work together. We set forth several years ago to provide a solution to a very prevalent problem, and that is that most small businesses do not have access to capital. They don't have access to capital to start or to grow or reach their potential in most cases. This is an ironic situation because there are banks and credit unions and loan brokers across the internet. So it's fascinating why there's a disconnect between borrowers and lenders. We put this model together, and it's certainly evolved over the years, but we put the model together with a group of us that were either current or former SBA/SBDC employees, SCORE mentors, business bankers, and a couple college professors. So we kind of formed a think tank, and we set forth to develop programming that is consistent and that's effective. And so I'll tell you about that in a moment. So with that being said, our goal, our role, our mission is to improve access to capital. Now, we've developed this model in such a way that we can work with individuals and professionals, much like yourself, where you can monetize that. And it's again, an opportunity to collaborate on a part-time or a full-time basis, but the underpinning of all that we do is financial literacy. So let's drop down and look at a couple topics on the website. So we're here on Smart Money Alliance. There are two main categories of education that our branch managers give. The first of which is personal financial literacy. It's built around a 6-element model of debt management, cash flow, creating and maintaining an emergency fund, having proper protection, building wealth, and preserving wealth. But if you want to get more specific, at the bottom of the page here are the different topics that we teach. So we teach these topics at libraries, at churches, at apartment complexes. I'll tell you my favorite place to teach them, and it's what we're going to have a greater emphasis on the second half of this year, is going into small businesses and doing lunch and learns for the employees of those small businesses. We've tested that some, and it's worked really well, especially for those smaller businesses that do not have 401k or retirement plans in place. There's often a void of both education and the vehicle or vehicles for the employees to save and grow money. And so we can do both of those, right? We have what's called a smart money plan that I can educate you on separately, but we'll go in and we'll teach these topics. And so if you have a passion for helping people, teaching these topics, which these are turnkey. We have the speaker's notes and the PowerPoints and the handouts. It's an award-winning curriculum that we could teach together in your community. Can it be taught online as well as in person? Absolutely. But a big part of what we want to do is not just teach, we want to then help apply that knowledge to the individual. So we'll call that a conversion. So our branch managers are good at not just teaching, but then helping the audience apply that. And that does become a monetized event for the branch manager. We believe that you'll most likely have more conversions through face-to-face education, but it is true that these could be offered in either scenario. Secondly, and maybe even more to the heart of the matter, is our business financial literacy curriculum. So while the personal financial literacy curriculum is applicable to the population at large, and frankly, all business owners are also people, the business financial literacy is targeting business owners. Now, it could be pre-launch business owners or startup business owners or even existing business owners. And you'll see that there's different topics that apply to different situations. For example, if you're an existing business owner, you probably wouldn't want to sit in on is owning a business a good fit for you, because you're beyond that. And if you're pre-launch, you probably would have less interest in sitting in on an exit strategy session. But the point is, we have a variety of topics. Certainly access to capital, which is a 1-hour overview, is our flagship of these. And so again, with business financial literacy, we can teach this at chambers and co-working spaces, business organizations, business associations. I was in Chicago 2 weeks ago, and we'll be back up a week from this weekend with William, one of our superstars, teaching with a host. And so these are taught to small business owners, where the personal financial literacy is taught to general public. But in both cases, if we start with education and then we meet with each individual prospect, help them apply that to their circumstance, then we can monetize that while helping them. So let me go ahead and talk to you about how we help small business owners and how you would benefit from that as well. Our 4-week Access to Capital program is one of our newer offerings, but it has been spot on. It's exactly what the marketplace needs. Most small business owners, as we established, want to need more money to start grow, to reach their potential. But what they often don't realize is that there's a process, and the process is what you and we teach them and we help them with. That process starts with creating a loan package, and there's a video here that describes it, but just skipping down to step 1. What you and I'll do is we'll help them build a loan package, because the loan package not only helps them vet through their ideas to help make sure that it's economically viable, but it's also an important element that's needed to get most types of business funding. And so that is part of what's included in the 4-week Access to Capital program. Once they've completed that, then we do a capital match and help identify what the right source or sources of capital are based upon their circumstances. And we have a growing number of banks and issuers of credit that we work with that has a specialization of accessing capital under the EIN. So again, if you decided to collaborate with us, what we would hope to do is work together to help small business owners become more educated, which we addressed here. And then a very common next step is going to be for them to go through the 4-week Access to Capital program. This is grant subsidized, so it's not free, but it's pretty close to being free. And it is so affordable, I don't think you'll face any pushback at all. So for the client, they're paying 4 payments of $99, or they could pay just one, $396. But you know, they're saving a little over $4,000 by going through this. So they're saving a bunch of money, and it's really what's needed to be able to access most types of business capital. So it's a gold mine. Now, from this, as a branch manager, part of getting these folks prepared and developing their loan package is helping them have what's called a collateral assignment. A collateral assignment is required by the SBA and by most business lenders. and it protects the lender in case the borrower should die. So it's a life insurance policy, but it's not just a general life insurance policy. It's a specific one that's owned by the business. The business is the beneficiary. The key person is insured. And then the lender has a collateral assignment, so they get part of the proceeds if the borrower should die. That allows them to recover their exposure. If you're currently licensed, this is an absolute gold mine. We have one of our agents who's fairly new, and he'll write over 50 life insurance policies this month in June. And so if you're already life insurance licensed, using this technique to help people access capital, to build their loan package, and use that as appropriate pivot to set up a key person policy, is remarkable. If you're not currently licensed, that's okay. We can assist you in becoming licensed, and this can be very, very meaningful. So going from the 4-week access to capital program, we'll flip over. So that's kind of the low option. Our high option that I'd like you to be familiar with, and it's probably another reason that you might want to consider becoming one of our branch managers, which again is the purpose of our call on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This webinar is designed for folks that are considering working with us that need more information. I should mention that Zoom has a Q&A function, kind of like a chat box, where you can ask questions. And so if you're a prospective branch manager or a new branch manager and need assistance, let us know. I will let you know that we're getting ready to roll out an extensive amount of additional training and support for our branch managers, and that'll be available later this month. We have a new trainer. His name is Brian, and Brian will be taking the lead in helping train our branch managers. All right, so we said that we start with education, both personal and business. We've talked about how the 4-week access to capital program is really the starting point that any small business owner needs. If they need more capital, we need to have a loan package first, because that helps us articulate how much capital they really need, what it's going to be specifically used for, and to meet the underwriting criteria of the lender. So that was the low option. The high option I'd like you to be familiar with, and again, there's a YouTube video embedded that you can watch at your convenience, is called the Capital Ready Package. Version 2.0 note. We launched our first version of Capital Ready almost 2 years ago, and it had some successes, but it also had some failures. And so we've learned from that and recently relaunched Capital Ready Package version 2.0. So with 2.0, certainly we are putting together that loan package, which is also frankly available right here that we just talked about. But in addition to that loan package, we're doing more to better position that small business owner for a material capital raise. We're going to also help build out their business credit profile. So we hired an employee, full-time W-2 employee here in our office, and that's what she does. She works with our clients to help them build their business credit profile. There's no additional cost for that. It's about a $3,000 value, but that's included with no additional cost in the Capital Ready version 2.0. If they need assistance in improving personal credit, we can help them with that. We're not credit repair, and in most cases, we can avoid even having the need for credit repair. And then, of course, the financial literacy topic. So it's more of a turnkey program. What's really powerful about this is we guarantee participants at least $100,000 capital raise. At least $100,000 capital raise. And some people will say, well, that's too good to be true. Well, it's not, because what we're going to do is two things. We're going to help identify the right source or sources of capital based upon each client's mitigating circumstances, and that's going to be flushed through by creating the loan package. And then secondly, what we're going to do is we're going to help them meet the underwriting criteria. We have people that come to us with outlandish requests. We'll have people that say, I want $7 million. Well, great. Big dollars aren't a problem, but do you qualify for it? So it's that loan package that we assemble to determine, do they really qualify for it or not? And if not, what needs to be done? It may be that they qualify for some of that 7 million now, but we may need to do some work to reach the end goal. That's the whole point of the Capital Ready program, is instead of just taking them where they're at, we're going to take them where they are and help them get to where they need to be to get the end goal. Many of our clients want and desire much more than 100,000, but that's a guarantee that we know that we can help any small business owner get, but that's not the cap. And so by being a branch manager with us, this is a wonderful opportunity to be able to help small businesses through the education that we've talked about, have a very affordable entry point, and then if they're ready and willing for more of a turnkey solution. Now on the Capital Ready package, you are making $1,250 for each enrollment, and you're making that up front. You're also going to make 5% of their capital raise. So if you know you're going to earn at least 5% of 100,000, you know you got another 5,000 in accounts receivable coming to you. Plus, you're going to set up that key person policy. So you get 3 streams of income, but maybe the most important one is the money that goes into your pocket today, and that's the $1,250 from the front end. That $1,250 comes from a deposit. They're going to submit a refundable deposit when they enroll, but just like with an apartment, it is a refundable deposit. So we are waiving the normal processing fee to get started. So it's saving them $500 off the bat. And you can use that a little bit as a sales pitch if you want. Hey, let's see, we have Joseph on the line. Joseph, if you're ready today to get started, I can go ahead and waive the normal $499 enrollment fee. And so the only expense you'd have is the $2,500 refundable deposit. And of course, it's fully refundable once you complete the program. So for Joseph, maybe that would motivate him to go ahead and pull the trigger now. Now, let's say Joseph's a little bit tight in the pocket. And if that's the case, then of course you could always pivot down to the low option. So again, we get together on Tuesdays and Thursdays to help educate and help our prospective branch managers understand why they might want to work with us. I'll give a quick overview of a couple of these other spots, but the goal is to get your questions in, so you can go ahead and start typing those in, the questions that you have for us in terms of what's keeping you from coming aboard as a branch manager. Okay, so we also have an Sba Express program. It's kind of a lighter version of the full Capital Ready package. It's focused specifically on getting an Sba 7A Express loan. It's less expensive, but it is equally effective, and that's about a 30-day process. A very important part of what our branch managers do is we go out and teach. So in addition to teaching the general topics that are outlined here, this access to capital is actually a standalone full-day workshop that we can do. So the overview version is 1 hour, and you can actually listen to that. There's a recorded version of the overview. But then there is the full 8-hour session. The 8-hour session is where we work with a host. You can see host. A host, again, can be a church, a chamber, a co-working space. They provide the space, they invite the people, and then one of our trainers, myself, or one of the 4 others will come out with you and we'll teach a 1-day workshop. You might say, well, why would someone want to sit in on an 8-hour workshop? Well, at the end of that day, they're going to walk away with their loan package. So they're accomplishing what they would in 4 weeks normally, and they're actually doing it in less time. So you can read through and watch the video if you'd like to learn more about this. But my goodness, as a branch manager, we should be doing at least one of these a month. We probably should be teaching the overview version, the hour-long version, probably once a week. And then we probably should be doing the full 8-hour once a month. So you'd be teaching about 12 hours a month. If you look at the expected income from teaching 12 hours a month and the conversions that would be derived therefrom, we predict that you'll make $17,000 a month. Can't guarantee it, right? You might not be very good at what you do. But to be a branch manager, it's very inexpensive. I think you probably know it's $250 to get started. and then $250 a week thereafter. The bottom line is, I mean, if you just taught one session a month, you would more than break even. But if you follow our branch manager model, which is let's teach the overview once a week in your community, same day of the week, same time of the day, same location, so it's reoccurring and familiar to the community. Get referrals from business bankers, chamber leaders, and others. And then once a month, we fill up a room with at least 20 people, and we'll send a trainer out to teach this with you. And so you make on average $5,000 for this one-day workshop, not even including the key person policies that spin off from it. On the career opportunity tab, you can actually use our workforce grant that we received and do free training, which is great. This used to be $1,000. It used to require people to fly in. People would fly in from all over the country and come to our office and do this 8-hour class in person. Now it's available online, and the grant covers 100% of the cost. You can get trained for free. So we encourage you to do that. We have an educational coordinator, a full-time W-2 employee here. Her name's Jennifer, and she'll walk you through that and help you. There's also a YouTube video on that. We've talked about how we're looking for branch managers. There's an economic model. There is a YouTube of the economic model. There's the actual onboarding packet. And then there's also a YouTube that describes that. So again, very transparent. There's no passwords needed for all of this. It's not hidden. It's free for the world to see. And then our leadership team are our regional directors. And I think we have a couple regional directors on the webinar live right now, including Regina, whom I talked to yesterday. Our regional directors, and there's no cost, of course, to be a regional director, but they build out branches. They get paid $5,000 for every branch they bring on. And then they also earn 1% override of the capital raise of the clients from the branches they bring on. And they also earn overrides on the key person policies. So no cost to be a regional director. You know, these are the folks that want to make $250,000 or more a year. And they are they're helping develop and oversee. I was going to say supervise, but that's probably the wrong verb. They're going to help develop and help oversee and support normally 10 to 15 branches. And those branches can be spread out anywhere. So you have a YouTube video to learn about that, as well as the job description. The funding proposal part of our website is an opportunity with no cost and minimal time for small businesses to get some assistance in figuring out where to go, where to get started, and then click on the link and do that. And then, to no surprise, to contact us, gives you our information. We have a true physical office. We're downtown of a charming historic community. It's not unusual for the train to go by, which is a block away, and you'll hear it in the background of our Zooms. We have a training center here, but again, we use it much less frequently because of the whole social distancing thing. And you can see that we do more field-based training and online. So with that being said, I want to take some time to answer your questions. You're on this webinar right now because someone invited you to be, probably one of our regional directors, but someone invited you to learn more about who we are and what we do, so you could make an educated decision if you'd like to become a branch manager or not. So what I want to do is make sure that we're answering your questions. So with that being said, let's take a look at the questions. Okay, Joseph's got a question that's not related with becoming a branch manager. So Joseph, we can get together offline. Question about funding outside of the country. Do we help small businesses outside of the country? No, our focus is on US-based businesses. McLynn asked about the cost structure when a client completes the 4-week program. Okay, yeah. So as McLynn picked up on and I described, often our entry point with a small business is going to be either to get them into a workshop the full day, or to help them through the online 4-week access to capital, where in both cases we're building out a loan package that also could be used if they're wanting investors, an equity-based capital raise. What McLynn is asking, well, what happens afterwards? So they're going to pay the $99 in 4 installments. I should say 4 installments of $99, $396 total. And then once they're finished with the loan package, then we're going to do the capital match. But McLenn's question is specific. Well, what happens at that point if we would like to work with them further and they would like to work with us further for their capital raise? Because at this point, they could just take their package and just go to their bank and apply, right? Or frankly, we're giving them a list of the main banks we work with. They could just take their loan package and go right on over to US Bank if they wanted to apply for a loan. But if they would like our assistance, which could include helping improve their probability of getting approved for a loan based upon improving their match to the underwriting criteria, and then as well as leveraging our lender relationships, then McLenn, most likely then you would go ahead and introduce them to the Capital Ready package. Now, the Capital Ready package, we are waiving the upfront enrollment fee. Historically, there was a $4.99 enrollment fee, but we're waiving that now. I realize if they've gone through the 4-week access to capital, they've spent $396. So the short answer to your question, McLenn, is if they go from the 4-week and then they upgrade to the full Capital Ready package, we would offset the cost of the deposit by that amount. So instead of their deposit being $2,500, which is fully refundable, that deposit would go from $2,500 down to about $2,100. Now that would impact you a little bit because you're making 50% of that. So now you're making 50% of $2,100, which of course is $1,050, versus if they came straight in as a branch manager, you're making $1,250. So that's the answer to the question. If they start with the 4-week and then they upgrade, and to upgrade both, we have to agree to take them on and they have to agree to work with us further, then we would offset that amount. You are welcome, McLenn. All right, looks like the next question is in terms of insurance. So in insurance, we have 2 different ways that you can write the key person policies. You can write them through your own hierarchy, through your own insurance relationships, and then we split the key person policy income 50-50. Any other policies that you might sell to that client thereafter would be 100% yours. And that's, I think, fair because we're splitting our income 50-50 with you. And then secondly, if you want to write through our hierarchy, then you'd make 100% of commissions and be able to earn override commissions from the insurance side. So either is fine. It's whatever is the best fit for you. Thank you for asking that. Looks like Samuel has a question regarding how to get started. Well, Samuel, what you'll do is just simply, again, make sure that you're familiar with what you'd be doing as a branch manager, and then just go over to the Contact Us page, put in your information, and let us know that you're interested in being involved, which would be the 4th bullet there, and then you could just type in, interested in becoming a branch manager. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and send over to you the DocuSign so we could execute that. Being a branch manager has quite a few benefits. It certainly provides the training, the tools, the geographic exclusivity, and so forth. And it's self-sustaining. You're going to make money, not spend money being a branch manager. So that is answer to your question, Samuel. And that's asking about the key person split. So if it's key person policies for our programs, then you have one of 2 options. Either you can write it through us and earn 100%, or you write it through your own hierarchy and we split it 50-50 for the key person policy alone, regardless if they're coming through the workshop or the other programs. Obviously, you're an insurance professional out doing your own thing. You don't owe us anything of that. But if it's the key person policy for our programming, since we're giving you half of our income that's derived from that client, then we would like to split in the key person policy as well. We waived that in May, but in June, we're back to the normal splits. All right, let's see here. Peter asks, how would we promote upgrading from Access to Capital to the Capital Ready program? Well, our goal isn't to upgrade them, first of all. So Peter, they're going to go through either the face-to-face workshop that you and I'll teach together or the online curriculum here. And in either case, you're right, they're going to have their loan package, and we're going to help give them a capital match, let them know where we would recommend that they go from there. And if they just want to take their loan package and go on their own, then they're welcome to do so. That's fine. You will have been paid for teaching them the workshop, and you will have sold them, in most cases, the key person policy. A lot of folks, though, their package still needs some work. Maybe their business credit profile is not strong enough. Maybe their personal credit needs some work. Maybe there's other elements that they're not to where they need to be for the amount of capital that they need. So then if they need further assistance, then that would be a very easy pivot over to the Capital Ready package. Because at this point, they know you, they know us, they trust you, they trust us, they have a tangible benefit, and frankly, they realize more work needs to be done. I used to be a public school teacher. Many of you have heard this boring story before, but I taught accounting and economics and mainly computer programming to high school students, public school students. And so when we would have tutors that would kind of market to the school and market to the teachers, if the student is not doing well, it's pretty easy for the parent to say, yeah, we need a tutor. So I guess you could use that analogy here, Peter, is if we take someone through the 4-week, whether it be the workshop or standalone, and they need more help, they need tutoring to get the grade they need, to get the funding they need, then the Capital Ready package is readily available. Hopefully that made sense. Nanette asked about the key person policy, and that's right. So in May, we had a promotion that the agent kept 100%. Now we're past May, we're in June. So the agent can keep 100% if they're writing through our hierarchy, or if it's the key person for any of our programming, then we split that 50-50, which is fair, right? Because we're giving 50% of the income from our portion to the agent, to the branch manager. It's equitable. It would be unfair otherwise. Okay, any other questions? We're 2 minutes over, which I apologize for. Does anyone else have any questions that you need to know as you decide if you want to become a branch manager? Now, again, even if you're not a branch manager, you certainly can be a regional director. No cost to be a regional director. We go out, we promote the value of being a branch manager. We invite those individuals in to Tuesdays and Thursdays Zoom webinars, just like we're wrapping up now. And if they decide to become a branch manager, you're paid $5,000. And then also you get a 1% override from the performance fee of the Capital Ready clients through their branch, and you get an override of their insurance production of the key person. So again, this is the 250,000 plus group here. Certainly all of our branch managers are 6-digit earners. And lastly, again, we have the free training that's available. Any other questions that anyone has for us today within the context of, should I become a branch manager? All right, well, I appreciate your time. We'll be back tomorrow on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. It is our onboarding for new branch managers. Tuesdays and Thursdays is, would you like to become a branch manager? Thank you so much. If you have any questions, be sure to reach out to Jennifer. She supports our existing branch managers. Have a great day.